Oh, what's up? Okay. All right. All right. All right. Let me get. Oh God. Let me get my life together. Um. Um. Let me redirect you if you want to come over to YouTube. That's fine. Um. I am going to be discussing this lawsuit. Hold on. There's a new lawsuit against Sean Combs. Um, okay, let me just make sure that I can share this. I am on YouTube live right now, so I'm just going to share the link to my folks on Threads so they can come and join us. I'm going to issue a really huge trigger warning. Okay. Um, yeah, I'm going to issue a trigger warning here. This is going to be bad. I see folks on YouTube. Thank you for coming. Folks on Instagram, appreciate you for being here. Why is it not letting me share that? Let me actually turn my notifications off because I don't want to deal with this. All right. So there is I've just spent the last couple of hours or hour and a half or so combing through what information related to the latest allegations brought against Sean Diddy Combs. And let me add my allegedly banner because everything I'm saying here is allegedly. I have a bottle of wine that I'm probably going to get through the entire thing tonight. So join me if you will. Let me pin my comment so that people know to come over. All right. So the reason I'm going live is because Talia Graves, who is being represented by Gloria Allred, came forward in a lawsuit in which she alleges that Sean Combs and Joe Sherman, someone who supposedly was his one of his bodyguards, and we know, y'all know Gene Deal be out there. He was also one of the bodyguards, but this is somebody who was allegedly one of Diddy's bodyguards who's saying that he, he's like, I don't have no connection with Diddy and blah, blah, blah. But it's very clear from his Facebook page that I just went through and grabbed a lot of screenshots and videos. So before he tries to wipe it, it's very clear that if he didn't know Diddy, he knew a lot of motherfucking people around him. Mary J. Blige, Lil' Kim, Mace, J-Lo. He was J-Lo's bodyguard, everyone. I actually have a picture, a screenshot of him. Actually, I'll pull up his Facebook page. He was talking about how he was protecting her from when she stepped out of jail and things like this. So this is around the time of the shooting in the club. And so he's saying that he has, he ain't connected to Diddy. It wasn't him. He don't know nothing about nothing. But it's very clear from his own contents that he was very much involved in this. Okay, so Miss Talia Graves, and I hope that I'm pronouncing her name right. Talia or Talia. Cassie's lawsuit was bad, right? And we're not going to like play oppression kind of Olympic, who got what worse or anything like that. We're not going to do that. This lawsuit makes me think of R. Kelly. For those who are not aware, you've heard about R. Kelly and stuff like this. What many of you have not heard that came from some of the women is that R. Kelly forced them to have sex with animals and recorded it. There was a specific room in his house that he used to have these young girls and boys, and forced them to have sex with animals and recorded them. It's hard to get worse than that. Thank you for buying a badge. It's worse. It's hard to get worse than that, right? Because you just disgusting. And I know that some people don't know this stuff, right? Why do I know it? I don't know. Same reason why I show up in the Surviving R. Kelly. If you're in YouTube, can you type in the chat? Is the chat working? Like, I want to make sure. Is the chat working? You guys can type in the chat. Let me know if you're in the chat. Anyway, yes, there we go. I can see you now. Again, trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. She says that she was dating somebody that worked at Bad Boy, an employee of Sean Combs. And she went there to Bad Boy Studios in or around sometime in 2001. I believe she's 25 years old. And she said that she was given a drink that she believes was laced with drugs. And that when she woke up, she was bound and being assaulted by Diddy and this man, Joe Sherman. Big Joe, they call him Joseph Sherman. Big dude. And the reason why I'm having this moment, y'all, and I'm like not trying to be dramatic or whatever, is because I swear to God, I have been around this nigga before. I don't forget faces. Please understand, it's almost like photographic memory with me. I don't forget faces. I won't remember your name for shit, but I remember faces, and I know when I have been around somebody. And on my mama, I think I have. And he's from the Bronx. He's from Boston Road. I'm looking through his stuff, and I'm just like, I have been around this man, right? So she described, again, trigger warnings. Please, like, I am going to talk about this stuff, and if you can't stomach it, please leave. This is public information, okay? So, all right. Let's just say it was 2-on-1, both sides, so violently that she vomited and defecated on herself. That didn't stop them. They didn't care that this mess was made. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever had a dirty deal, whatever a situation is, what you call it, a shitty deal, right? It's no fun when you have anal and there's other stuff happening, right? It's never a fun time. According to her, Diddy was in her lower regions, in the front of her and in the back of her, and Sherman was in the front, in her mouth, and they were abusing her simultaneously. And it was so bad that she lost control of her bodily functions. And they didn't care. They didn't stop. They actually laughed and thought it was funny. And Sean merely wiped himself off and kept going. Switched up. So went from the back to the front, which caused her to feel a burning sensation, right? Because you're not supposed to do anal to vaginal because of, the infections and and so she felt her, her vagina burning already. And it was messy everywhere. And he inside and like watched it spill out. And they recorded all of this. They recorded it. Because that's what Diddy does. Because That's what serial killers do, serial rapists. They keep trophies, they keep things, trinkets to remember them by. And we heard about Cassie in November when Sean was denying everything then. He had the opportunity to get rid of these tapes, to get rid of this footage, to get rid of everything, and he didn't. And this is how we know that this is not about anybody's sexuality. This is not about women. This is not about men. This is not about girls. This is not about boys. This is about an extremely demented man who was allowed to be who he is because of the people around him that were enabling him. He was so enabled by these people, so confident in his megalomania that he didn't even think, let me get rid of my tapes. R. Kelly used to walk around with his tapes in a bag so he could pop them out at any time and watch them on a tour bus, in a hotel room, whenever he needed to get off. My Kinksters, you already know I'm gonna say this is not about kink. This is not about kink shaming. It's not about anything. Okay? Stop. Stop, stop, stop. This is about violence. And it appears to me, I'm only making an assessment based on what you all understand of me and who I am and the work that I've done. The way he orchestrated these things, he wanted to hurt people. And people let him. This man wanted to torture people. He wanted to cause them pain, severe pain. He wanted to humiliate them. He enjoyed degrading them. R. Kelly enjoyed degrading them. Don Cornelius enjoyed torturing and raping people, wanted to degrade them. Marvin Gaye enjoyed degrading women, pimping women out, selling women. He enjoyed that. I'm naming these names allegedly. Fuck out of here. They all did this shit because they were disgusting human beings, emboldened by the people around them. This woman was 25 years old in 2001. It is 2024, 23 years later. And she said that she has been doing the work over decades, we're talking decades, to try to heal from this, to try to live in a relatively normal way. And then when Cassie came forward, it triggered, it brought, it all came back. And she's been reliving it ever since. Gloria Allred is on this case. I don't know about y'all, but Gloria don't take no cases unless they're extremely salacious. That's my critique of her. She a bad bitch, but she's not gonna waste her time on something that ain't about to throw us all off. This woman, yes, she had to see him on the media 25 years straight. She had to watch him get a key to New York City. She had to watch him have this big 50th birthday party and people like Naomi Campbell and Mary J. Blige celebrating him. She had to watch him get all these Lifetime Achievement Awards. She had to watch all these people kind of bow at the altar of Diddy when he turned 50. But she said that when the stuff happened with Cassie, she came forward because here's the thing, dude. He sold the tape. Okay? He sold the tape. Allegedly. And she knows this because she was told this. Now, when this happened, she didn't know that she was being recorded. None of these victims knew at the time that they were being recorded. I think that is why so many people are getting very quiet and very scared, because you cannot possibly know what you did that is on tape. Even if you didn't do nothing, even if you just happen to be in the same house, like, okay, consider possibilities. I'm saying this because I need us to not fall into the sensationalism, right? Everybody's posting all these videos of people and all this picture and you all hanging out and blah 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 blah. I'm telling y'all again, I have hung out with a lot of these people. I've been around in a lot of these spaces. Okay. You could, it's very easy to pull up pictures of people and people together. As often as I post pictures of me with other folks, whatever. So we don't need to do that. We don't need to do that. These people did not know that they were being recorded. That was part of his, his predation, as part of his sickness, that he would record everything just like R. Kelly did, because he wanted mementos, because he would watch them again to get off. Because he can't get off with regular sex, right? The sex that people with healthy, minds and bodies have. He wanted to have the kind of sex that was non-consensual, that was torturous, that was extremely violent, that was as disgusting as possible. He wanted all of that. And he recorded it so he could continue to watch. That's why I brought up the point about how in November he could have gotten rid of all of this, and he didn't. There's no reason the FBI should have been able to raid his homes a few months ago and find anything. Let's just keep it a buck. They shouldn't have been able to find anything. She found out that there was a video made, and that video had been shared with people, right? People who were watching and laughing and enjoying it. She talked to her boyfriend about it. She talked to her boyfriend about what happened. The boyfriend, remember, who was working for Diddy at the time. And he told her not to say anything because he would lose his job. Can you imagine waking up? And the other thing is that she was in and out of consciousness the entire time. It was partly because she believed she was drugged, but partly because it was so violent what they were doing to her that she would pass out. She passed out several times during the entire thing. You wake up, you're bound, you're thrown across a table, because she said Big Joe threw her across the table and began assaulting her mouth. And Diddy came behind and began assaulting her from the back. She said the damage was so bad, right? She had to go and get, medical attention. She had hemorrhoids and all kinds of stuff that happened as a result of this. She tells her boyfriend, and her boyfriend tells her not to say anything because he could lose his job. Over the years, she said that she received threats from both Combs and Sherman, who basically wanted to remind her, better not say anything, There's tapes of it. Let's talk about Joseph Sherman, Big Joe Sherman, whom I just spent the last hour going through his Facebook page and stuff. Joe Sherman, all of this is allegedly, is a porn dealer. And the reason why I say quote unquote porn, because porn is consensual, right? And so if he's selling videos of anybody and it's not consensual, then it's not porn, right? It's, sexual assault material. So he sells this stuff. He's got a website where inmates at jails and prisons can order videos, magazines, and pictures. He kind of caters to folks in jail, right? That's his clean site, though. Let's keep it 100. He's not making a whole lot of money off of no inmates because they don't got no damn money, right? Or people can order stuff for them and then it gets sent to the facilities. Okay, that's his website. That's a laundering thing. That's clean because this man has too much money and he's not getting that money from that. This man has a lot of damn money and is still living in the Bronx, which is interesting to me because why? Okay, but that's what they do. He's not like Diddy. He's not going and buying all these like huge mansions and flexing out. He's staying right at home in the boogie down Bronx, right? Boston Road. Everybody from the Bronx know Boston Road, especially up, White Plains, towards White Plains, road up in there, that whole intersection. You all know already, Allerton, all of that. Y'all know what that shit is like up there. Y'all know we used to hang out there, Skate Key, around that area. That's where he's fine. That might be it. Skate Key. Okay. It might be that. Anyway, so that's what he's doing. He's selling porn. And if you look through all his stuff, he's got a lot of porn stars. I think he manages Pinky. It's from what I can tell, it seems like he manages Pinky. Y'all know who Pinky, short, low Pinky with the big ass. Right. Pinky. He manages folks. He used to manage Cameron. He's managed, folks. So he's been in the industry. He's been a bodyguard. He's been a porn dealer. He's been a manager. He's done whatever. He's got a whole post. And I'm going to post the screenshots on Threads once I'm done with this so y'all can see what I found. He's posted up with J-Lo, posted up with Mariah, posted up with Jay-Z, posted up with all these people. Kim, Lil Kim, Mary J. Blige, Eve, Salt and Pepper from Salt and Pepper. He's posted up with all these people. He was in the industry. He knows these people. He's in it. Okay. He was J-Lo's bodyguard when Diddy got arrested, and then he sent Shine down, he framed Shine. Around that time, he was that. He was also Bruce Willis's bodyguard. So he's got pictures with him and stuff. This is who this guy is. Okay. So for him to say, I don't have no association with Diddy, I don't really know nothing, I ain't do nothing about, shut up. Nope. We already know it's been established. We know who you are. So this is my thought. This is my theory. I'm putting my tinfoil hat on. If you're on Instagram, you want to come join us over on YouTube. We're getting closer to 100 in the chat in YouTube. Come over and join. I will. Thank you. I will. The comment says, thank you for sharing any of this. Please take care of yourself after this. I actually went to the liquor store and got myself some wine. It's going to keep me. I immediately was just like, I'm going to be sick. Okay. So here's my theory. I think that Joseph Sherman, Big Joe, is a much bigger player in the trafficking part of all of this, right? So we know that they're getting Diddy on racketeering, they're getting him on guns charges, they're getting him on, drugs. I think they're getting him on drugs. They're getting him on, sexual assault and stuff like that. But the trafficking, right? That's a really, really big part. And I think that if there wasn't the trafficking element, I'm not sure that they would have come in as hard as they did, right? I think that Big Joe got a lot more to do with the trafficking stuff just because of who he is, right? Most of his videos are him with his girls, right? There's strippers, there's dancers, there's porn actresses, adult actresses, things like that. He's in that industry, buying and selling body, right? Okay. Not that there's, again, if it's all legal, it's all good. Cool. But if this is what you was doing while you were working for Diddy as a bodyguard, why should we believe that there's no connection there? Like, why would we believe that there isn't a connection between what we know about Diddy's assaults and violent convenings that he had and this particular person. Why would we not think that there's a connection? And so if he's in this situation assaulting her along with Diddy and they're recording it and she finds out that people have seen it, but not just that people have seen it, just that it's been sold. Sold. Her lawsuit says she wants damages, but she also wants the tapes destroyed. She wants all evidence of the recordings destroyed. That's how you know this ain't just some money grab. Sis knows now that her shit is out there for the world to see, right? And so I'm like, yo, where's this, like, is Diddy involved in like some underground snuff film kind of situation, y'all? Like, the Kathy shit almost seems like a fucking breeze at this point. Are we about to find out, allegedly, that Sean Combs' trafficking ring involves some fucking like Nick Cage 8mm shit, some fucking Dubai wealthy men type shit? Is that what we gonna find out? That he's not just transporting sex workers across state lines. He's not just trafficking Cassie across state lines. But is this nigga dealing his videos? You said there's an outlet that posted allegedly there's some politicians on the tape. Of course there are. Of course there are. I'm not even worried about that. That allegedly, cool, whatever. We already know. Everybody and their mama is going to be on these tapes. This is Sean Diddy Combs. Like, sometimes I think, you know, and especially with younger folks, like, some of y'all just do not understand who Sean Combs is and who he was at the height of his career. This man ran hip hop. Like, please understand. This man ran hip hop. Between him and Russell Simmons, name somebody bigger that's black. Because I'm going to say that because Jimmy, Leor, oh, y'all know I've been on y'all next two. I can't wait for your downfall. For what you did to hip hop, Leah Cohen and Jimmy Iovine, y'all gonna pay. Y'all gonna pay. But y'all need to understand who Diddy is. No, you say Jay-Z. Nope, Jay-Z's not even close to Diddy. So I'm gonna put the kibosh on that. First of all, Jay-Z can't make a good business deal to save his life. Second of all, he bit everything off Biggie. So if anything, if you're ever thinking about anything, allegedly, you might want to think about why Biggie died, and then Jay-Z rose to power. Because that nigga wasn't going nowhere as long as Biggie was alive. And then he's made half his career using Biggie's lines in his songs. So, I mean, y'all can think what you want to think, but I'm not going to talk about that nigga too much because I can't fucking stand him. And I think he's a terrible person. And I've been thinking that before he married, oh girl. So I think that Diddy is involved in some really dark, disgusting shit in which he is producing snuff-like films and selling them. I don't know if it's a dark web thing. I don't know if Big Joe was the handler for that shit. I know it's above these black men though. We still in a racist ass world. I know they not at the top of this shit though. We need to be looking at Jeffrey Epstein's lists to see who was on Diddy's list, because I'm pretty sure the Venn diagram is a big fucking circle, because those people stay together. Those people, they move together. They keep each other's secrets. Y'all saw how quickly they took out Jeffrey Epstein, right? I think I read something about his lawyer saying that he's not suicidal, that he's fine. Okay. So we know when he turns up dead. And I think that they put that out for a reason, because I know that Sean Combs is absolutely terrified of being in jail. This man was literally begging the judges to please just let him go home. I'll give you everything. I'll give you all my passports, my kids' passports. I'll put $50 million up. You take the keys to my house. You could put a thing on my ankle. You could, whatever it is, I'll do it, because he's scared of being inside, because he's a cage. He's a sitting duck inside jail. He's scared of being in jail. And they were like, we're not giving you house arrest. That's where you did most of this shit. Why would we send you back to your little playground? Fucking dumbass. Thank you to everybody who's bought a badge. Shout out to everybody who's bought a badge. Shout out to the folks in YouTube. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe so you can get your notifications for when I go live. All right, so Talia Graves found out that her assault was recorded and that it was being shared with people for their entertainment and their pleasure, and that it was also being sold. And her lawsuit is demanding that any copies of this video be accounted for and destroyed. We know that's not possible, right? Because if it got sold to one person, if it got sold to one person, trust me, it's been duplicated and sold to others. Okay. Yes. One of our for those of you on Instagram, you should just come over to YouTube because we have a chat going over here too. She said, I just found out today that before all this, he got a tattoo representing Ursulie Dantour on his back. In Haitian voodoo, she's the spirit that protects women and children. Yes, he invited this. It was his time. Yes, she is the reason that he is catching all of this. Stop playing with our ancestors and our spirits, please, because it's not funny. I don't know what to do, y'all. Like I thought the R. Kelly making them girls have sex with dogs was probably the lowest that we could go. Bill Cosby, may be the most prolific serial rapist in American history. He was drugging women, sedating women, and having sex with them. Probably his necrophilia. I'm sorry. Allegedly, I'm gonna call it as necrophilia. A lot of people who have necrophilia will try to reproduce and replicate or simulate the idea, their victims being lifeless, because that's the closest they can get to fucking a dead body. So I think that was what was going on with Bill Cosby. This is worse than that. And I don't like to be like, what's worse, what's better, no. This is worse than that. I thought R. Kelly, the kids and the dogs was the floor. But I think if we find out that Sean Combs was recording and making snuff porn, not porn, snuff films, because people were not consenting. If he was making snuff films and selling them, and when I say snuff, you don't know what snuff is. Actually, a snuff film is when the person dies or looks like the person dies. You can actually go to a number of adult sites and find, so I'll answer this before you even ask. A while ago, because if you follow me on Threads routinely, or periodically, you'll see I'll be like, there's a porn genre for this, right? Go to your site and type in Border Patrol and type in, hijabi and see what comes up, right? Why do I know this stuff? Because I need to know this stuff, right? I'm a feminist. I'm a sex positive feminist, right? So knowing the kind of porn that people watch and what they're interested in and what's popular is kind of just stuff that I need to have, right? So there's a whole genre of porn during which they enact this idea of a woman being killed, right? Which is, interestingly enough, again, trigger warning, y'all. Um, Interestingly enough, a lot of it is by way of lynching. I was very curious about that when I started seeing that a lot of it was like lynching, definitely strangulation. And strangulation, whenever you find that a woman has been strangled by a man, you know that that is a very sexist, misogynistic way of killing women. It is a basically shut up, right? So when a man goes and he is choking a woman to death, he is cutting off her voice, literally silencing her in a fatal way, right? So you know that it is a gendered attack. You know that it is kind of passionate in that, they say crime of passion, but no, it's really like it's about control, it's about male domination, right? um so they have a lot of those films where that kind of stuff is enacted. And people get off on this and so I've watched them and I've been like, I don't personally see why this is sexually arousing. Oh, unless you fucking hate women and your dick gets hard at the idea of killing them, right? Okay. So there's a lot of that. But it seems to me that Diddy is sedating people to have them appear lifeless on film. If he can drug people, well, one, they won't defend themselves against him. But remember the allegation when the man said he woke up to Diddy assaulting another man next to him, allegedly, and Diddy allegedly told him, I did this to you, and like smiled about it. This person you know, was coming back to consciousness. So you can imagine if there's a video there of that someone would want to watch. And let's also remember that people would pay a lot of money for a video of Sean Puff Daddy, Puffy, P. Diddy, Brother Love, Combs sexually violating someone. Y'all remember the Hostel films, right? People thought that shit was like real sick and real gross, but that's real. Like that really happens. I think a lot of times for our own self care, we don't allow ourselves to think about that. Thank you for buying the badge, not Foucault. I, we don't want to think about that. We don't want to think about that level of depravity. We don't want to think of that level of violence as being a thing that people do, but it is. It is. It is. Please know that it is. And know that it has no racial bounds, because I remember growing up and like we would talk about stuff and we would say, oh, that's just white people shit. White people do that kind of sick shit. White men are just disgusting and psychotic. They do that kind of stuff. We don't do that. That's actually limited a lot of Black people from getting into kink and into BDSM, because we're like, oh, that's white people shit. They do that nasty shit or whatever. No, 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 no. You cannot make this about race. This is about power. This is about these Black men that I've named assimilating into a white supremacist patriarchal structure, mimicking the savage behaviors of the men they want to be like, of the men who have the power that they want. And what they see over and over with people like Harvey Weinstein is that debasing women is how you get power. Harming women, assaulting women, blackmailing women, stalking women. That's how you get power. And so they mimic it. Except for some reason, brothers that are watching this, you niggas take it to the next fucking level. Kind of how we talk about Black excellence and, give us a golf club and we're going to dominate golf. Give us a tennis racket. We're going to dominate that. Give us a fucking balance beam. We're going to dominate that, because we kind of just dominate everything. You niggas, y'all take things to the motherfucking extreme. Okay? You got to one up the white man and ratchet that shit up. And I find that very interesting because it's a pattern that I've just noticed. You're trying to prove something to these crackers. And no offense to my crackers. I love y'all, my whole face. But I'm talking to niggas right now. Talking to y'all. It's an overcompensation, right? So when we think about domestic violence, for example, right, we know that every day 3 women in the United States are killed, right, as a result of domestic violence. And statistically, we know that 2 of them are going to be Black women. You're like, why y'all got to take shit to the extra level, right? Why you got to do shit more than white men? But then want to turn around and be like, oh, well, they don't hold the white men accountable. How about we hold all you people accountable? But also, how about you niggas stop doing shit twice as much as they do? Like, what are you trying to prove? And I would be remiss if I did not point out that Talia Graves is a white appearing woman. I don't know what her ethnic background is, but I know that she appears to be white. Matter of fact, I can see if I can get a picture. And I'm only saying this because she put her name and her likeness out there. She had a press conference, she was doing this. But she looked like, you know what? What name origin is Talia? Thalia. Anybody know? Anybody know? I'm gonna show YouTube what she looks like, because you all on Instagram can't see this. You should come on over. Let's see if there's a picture of her. There she goes. There she goes. You all can see that? Oh. So she almost looks like a Kardashian, like Armenian or something, Middle Eastern, right? Yeah, like something like, oh God. And that's even okay. Because who the top buyers of this kind of shit, right? Well, allegedly, it's them wealthy Middle Eastern men. They love this shit. They love this nasty, sick shit, right? And I mean, I could spend time making the connection to religious, oppression and suppression of healthy sexuality that turns into adherents being sexual deviants, the priests that rape all the children, right? Yeah. So somebody said Greek, maybe. She looks like one of them racially ambiguous chicks that were super popular in videos and stuff. 100%, just like Russell Simmons had a type that he preyed on. Yes, at that time, if we're thinking 2001 shiny suit era, Talia would have been the like prime kind of like, oh, we want that. Okay, so yeah, somebody say Ukraine. Yeah, I think Talia, you say Mexican, but I think without the H, we can get Talia is Mexican, right? That's why I keep pronouncing it almost like Spanish. I think Talia might be Mexican, but with that H is something else. But anyway, she's a white facing woman. She's not Black. That's actually what matters. She's not Black. And at the end of the day, we all know that the victim, the identity of the victim is what is most important. Case in point, Samuel Little, most prolific serial killer in the country in our history, got away with it for 2 reasons. One, the police don't think that Black men are smart enough to be serial killers. So they would never suspect that a Black man is out there killing a lot of people because they don't think you niggas are smart enough. And then 2, he'd killed several women, at least a couple of dozen, until he killed a white woman and people actually became concerned, right? So it was when Samuel Little killed the white woman, then it became a thing, right? Same thing with Bill Cosby, right? Although his were mostly white women, but you understand how this goes, right? Black women, Afro Latinas, not valued. But Cassie came forward, that other white woman came forward, I think there's another white Jane Doe, and then now with Talia. Yeah, that savage nigger trope. That the savage nigger that Oh, sorry, I'm not. That goes around and rapes people. Yeah, yeah. That's what they play into all the time. Somebody said Portuguese. Somebody said, "Oh, she's Brazilian, Portuguese." Okay. Well, oh yeah. Oh, that's you said Tommy Motorola. That's funny. Oh, the Mexican singer, Talia. Yeah, okay. Mm. Well, anyway, when you looked at her, those of you that were on YouTube, you saw what she looked like. Um, yes. Okay. So what else do we know about this situation? So I'm really concerned about this Joseph Sherman thing. Um, because he's telling people, I was reading on TMZ, he's telling people he don't got no association with, he don't know nothing about nothing. He don't know Diddy, he don't know nothing. Diddy nigga. They have the tapes, my man. You gonna be on them tapes. So I don't even know. I mean, just looking at his Facebook videos and stuff, he's not very smart. Like, but okay. Um, So she was in a car with them when they gave her the glass of wine, and she began to feel lightheaded, dizzy, and physically weak. Um, they had her hogtied, pretty much. Anybody know what hogtied is? Well, look it up. Um, she was in and out of consciousness. And you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the woman that came forward about Sean and Aaron Hall. And she was a black woman, and people kind of have brushed that aside. She said she was 19. Her and her friend went, and she was assaulted by Sean and by Aaron, but also that Sean was kind of orchestrating the stuff with Aaron, and Aaron got a little like, nigga, why are you trying to tell me what to do kind of thing? Because Aaron is that type of person. He's a pretty, messed up person himself. And yes, I have a picture of me and Aaron Hall. From a couple of years ago, and I had totally blanked on how much of a piece of shit he is. So please forgive me if you see that picture of me and Aaron Hall. I do not support Aaron Hall and his stuff. I just totally kind of blanked on that. I'd forgotten. But see, that's what I'm talking about. It's like you all are posting all these pictures of people with them and trying to prove stuff, and it's like, don't do that. Like, don't do that. But she said that. She was like, this is what happened to me. And some of you are like, oh, I don't know if I heard of that. Right. Because it's a black woman who said this. And her friend that was also violated is a black woman. Somebody said you was really on the scene. Happy in my house. I'm sorry, happy in my house. But back in the day though, that's what I'm saying. I know this nigga. I'm not saying I know him, but I've been around him before. And I put on threads. This is like when I found out, y'all heard about like True Master and how he like sexually assaulted this woman. True Master is a producer from the Wu-Tang or whatever. I found this out after. Listen, sometimes it don't pay to be from New York. It don't pay to be from New York. Because you just be in the mix of everything, allegedly. Yeah, this is awful, y'all. It's awful, it's awful, it's awful. I'm not sure what to do because this was not included in the whole thing that the FBI, like what the FBI picked him up, he got indicted on, in the Southern District. This is not included in that. All right. I think they said everything in there is like after 2008. So this is not included in that overall indictment. It's not. So I'm like, oh, can they just fold that in? And when they were doing this indictment, it was like a lot of it was because of all these different lawsuits that they're like kind of pulling together. So I'm like, yo, are they going to fold this in too? I'm glad she came forward. There are going to be way more people coming forward, right? Because now that Sean is in jail, right, for survivors of sexual assault, it's really difficult to come forward when that person is out and about and walking around and things like that. I actually regularly have to see someone who assaulted me in the news, right? And it is not easy. It is not easy. Um, I don't think I've ever shared that with y'all. Well, here we are. It is not easy to deal with that and to kind of see that this person did this thing to you and can kind of navigate the world freely with all the money that they have, with the power and the influence and all the stuff that they have. Um, it does do something to your, to you psychologically. And so that's why I have visceral reactions to people being like, well, why didn't you say anything? Or why didn't you come forward? Why you wait all this time? Some people are actually waiting for folks to die, waiting for folks to maybe be incarcerated and kept behind bars. So it's like, all right, well, you can't do anything to me. Some people are waiting. That's what Me Too is about. It's like kind of waiting for someone else to come forward and say something. And then you corroborate. I've thought about this. I'm like, if someone was to come forward about this person, that I would offer my support by saying, "This happened to me too. Here's what happened. Can this maybe offer, kind of support for MO?" Kind of like what was happening with Bill Cosby. Please know that most of the women that came forward about Bill Cosby were not filing lawsuits. They were not seeking money. They were not, they were just like, I just want to add to this narrative that yes, this is how he moves. This is what he did to me. I want to establish that this is a pattern. This is his modus operandi. Like this is how it goes. And I feel like I might be comfortable doing that. You know, um, yeah, it's tough. Um, that's why I'm so sensitive to this stuff. I mean, sensitive in a way, not that like I'm living fragile, right? But you also can kind of see why I do what I do, right? Um, Yes, the first person to come forward, does bear the most scrutiny and the heavy lifting, etc. And in my situation, the person is white. So we know ain't shit gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. Right? As much influence as I have, as much notoriety as I have, as much of the mark that I've made on this world, I nothing would happen. Right. But I'm happy to lend my voice, to corroborate that kind of thing. Um, Yeah, so I'm particular about this stuff. I'm sensitive about this stuff. I support the people who are brave and able to come forward. Um, I will always be like, "No, I believe you. Yep. Sorry." Because less than 5% of allegations are false. We know this. Okay, so that tells us that over 95% of the allegations that women bring or make the accusations that they make about their sexual assault are true. I'm gonna go with the 95% odds. A lot of you want to focus on the less than 5% and how that could ruin someone's life and all that stuff like that. But you know what? If I'm a good dude, I'm like, yeah, you know what? It might ruin my life. Something happened to this woman. I don't want that to happen. Let me not be the kind of person who could even come close to being accused of something like that. Right? How many of you men that are watching this, or not even just men, because I have to think about this too. Like I'm the kind of person that I travel and motherfuckers slide in my DMs. Like, what hotel are you staying at? I'm like, ooh, that happens. You have to be careful. Like I'm sitting myself, I'm like, I swear to God, I hope nobody don't try to say I did nothing. Cause I don't be, but anyway, um, how about you be the kind of person that somebody couldn't even try to bring up an allegation? How about you be above reproach? How about you be the kind of person who wouldn't even have invoked that kind of energy? How about you just not be that person? Because if somebody's bringing an allegation against you, something about your ass is going. I'm gonna be looking at you kind of sketch. Like it could be you. It could be you. Less than 5% chance that it's not. So you know. Um, but yes, that's why I am such a fierce advocate in this space. And this Diddy stuff, if y'all saw my last live when I was talking about him, it does feel a certain way. As somebody who kind of grew up in this stuff, and was around a lot of this stuff and monitored and tracked a lot of this stuff. And then when I decided to start reporting on these niggas, the vitriol that I have received, I had a good cry about this the other day, which kind of led me to post, the articles and stuff that I posted on Instagram. I had a good cry about this the other day because I have been waiting so long for hip hop to get to this moment when it finally has to reckon with how it only exists today because of the debasement of Black women. And I've been waiting for these chickens to come home to roost forever. There are people, women in the industry, who have been sending me messages thanking me for speaking up because they can't. People that y'all know, people whose music y'all listen to, people whose films and TV shows y'all have seen. They've been watching me, watching these videos, and feeling less alone. And that's why I do it. I don't really have much to lose. I feel like when I think about everything that I've contributed to this world already, I think I've done enough. I could die tomorrow and it'd be okay. Actually, I just want to live a little longer to see my baby turn 18 and maybe graduate high school. If I can just make it that long, then I'll be all right. But I've done enough. I've done enough. And I'm going to be honest, y'all, I'm tired. But if I can be that person for those sisters who send me messages and just say, thank you for saying something. I'm dealing with nonsense right now. Thank you. Years ago, I dealt with this. I remember this woman that I care about very much. And I'm not in touch with her as much, but I care about her. And she told me that Russell Simmons, did the same thing to her. She didn't want to come forward because of the racial dynamics. And if you're watching, I've never shared that with anybody. I've never told nobody your name or nothing like that. Just know that I hold space for you because that's not right. As a Black woman, it's not right that I gotta hold that because we are in a society just of, we're skeptical about white women filing assault claims against Black men because we know the history and the legacy of that. But I am not a good Black feminist if I don't say, you niggas have proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are fully capable of doing this shit yourself and that you do it. And you do it a lot. And you do it at higher rates than white men in this country. That you harm us more than white men harm white women. When will enough be enough? I've had to move more than once. I've had to change my phone number many times. I got my kid out of a certain school because one of you niggas sent me pictures that you took of my child at his school. I have dealt with everything that comes with speaking out on these things, just as someone online talking under the moniker Feminista Jones. Imagine if I were to accuse someone like that of something. I'm in a documentary about a very famous person that is about to come out right now, and I have felt my anxiety increasing as we slowly get to that date of the release of this documentary that I am in prominently. And what that's going to mean when his fans come after me. What do I do? you know? I had posted, a thing on my morning walk, and there were people, white men and white women in the comments trying to figure out where I live, arguing about where I live. I'm like, like, can you not send people to my door? Is that possible? You just don't understand what this is about. This ain't just, I'm just tweeting, I'm just threading, I just want engagement, I just want to make money. It's nice when you send me money because it helps me pay my bills. Thank you very much. But I'm not doing this for that. Trust me, the work that I've done, proportion to the donations that I've gotten, it's a big gap. Okay. But no, I appreciate everything, every fucking quarter that someone sends to me. That's great. But like, y'all can't protect me. This is why I have guns. That's why I have one right now at my feet. It's why I sleep with a blade under my pillow and a gun under my bed. It is why I have a shotty by my front door, because I have spoken out on R. Kelly, on Bill Cosby, on Russell Simmons, on Sean Combs, on this next person that I can't say it till it comes out and y'all will see this. Those were cows. Somebody asked me if it was goats. They're cows. I told you I live in Whitelandia. They got cows as pets. So thank you for joining. And I really appreciate, I joined Twitter in 2009, but I was, doing a lot of this stuff way before that. 15 years, right? We just ended that 15-year Pluto cycle, which is, interesting. That's why I'm not on Twitter no more, right? I even changed my name on Twitter. You go look up Feminista Jones, you ain't gonna find me. I changed my name on Twitter. I'm not doing that no more. I'm leaving that behind. A lot of you have been rocking with me for a long time, and I appreciate you. And I just want to say that kind of support is the stuff that folks need. So when you see people sharing their stories about sexual assault and stuff like that, like, show them some love, like, send them some kind words, stop asking them why they were there, and stop asking people for details. That's another thing y'all do. When somebody is sharing about something, you'll pry. You'll demand more details. You'll want to know all these things rather than just say, I'm sorry that happened to you. And that's disgusting when you do it. If you're the kind of person that does that, I just want you to know that that's disgusting. Okay? Like, just don't do that. I appreciate you all. I do. And I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm going to see this through. Thank you for buying the badges, everybody on Instagram. I'm going to see this through. I have to. I have to see this Diddy thing through. And then the next thing, I have to see Russell go down. I have to see him go down. I have to. Like, I have to see the end of Russell Simmons. I do. I do. And I'll look directly into the camera, nigga, because I don't care about you. I'm not afraid of you. I'm not. And I know you watch my shit, nigga. I don't fucking like you. I have no respect for you. If you were to die tomorrow, I'll spit on your fucking grave. You can't do anything to me. I'm not afraid of you. Just so you know. I'm gonna ride for my girl Drew. I'm gonna ride for my girl Soleil. I'm gonna ride for all the women that you did shit with. Straight up. If they ever need me for anything, I'm riding with them. And you know that just as well as I do. So fuck you. I can't wait for you to go down. Like, that will be it. I will feel like everything that I have done in my life as a Black feminist will have finally fucking mattered to see you go down. And you're next. Okay. So I'm gonna go. Yeah, he's got to go too. Talib's got to go too. I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna end this live. I got a sandwich to eat and some wine to drink, and I'm gonna see if I can do some cupcaking before my night is over. Um, appreciate you. I mean, if you want to send me cash up, because I am planning this birthday party for my kid, and I did just spend $190 on a blazer for him so that he can look really nice for his 18th birthday party because his father is not participating at all, and he's not showing up, and he's not even coming to his 18th birthday party. So I am doing this all by myself. So if you do want to hit my cash app, that would be really dope. I will tell him that his internet aunties, uncles, and family supported him in this. It'd be really nice if you want to do that. I'm not gonna tell you have to, but it'd be really nice. And I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna end this now, and I'll talk to y'all soon. I love y'all. Bye.